Data from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare shows that demand for homelessness services is at an all-time high, and that actually the Illawarra region is the fourth highest region in terms of demand for homelessness services.
That's incredible.
And wait for social housing's 3 years. I thought it was 10 in our region.
It's much longer. So I looked at the stats yesterday. Our waitlist, so there's currently 68,700 across all of New South Wales. In the Wollongong region, there are 3 waitlists. Wollongong alone is 1,547 people. And then South Wollongong, 612, and Shellharbour, 899.
Yeah.
And then they have a new dashboard that tells the general public or anyone that's looking how many people have been homed.
Right.
So that's a new. It's a way up, I suppose.
Don't
making
look at all the people that don't have a home.
better.
Look at the people that've got a home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Nicky Sloan. I'm the CEO of Community Industry Group, and I'm coming to you today from the beautiful lands of the Dharawal people. And today we're joined by Kelly McGarrity, who is the Housing Services Manager for the Wollongong Homeless Hub and Housing Services, which I'm just going to call the Homeless Hub if that's okay with you.
That's okay.
And also, very importantly, Kelly was a winner in our recent Community Services Awards for Leadership, I believe.
Yes.
And some of the incredible work that you're doing to support people who are experiencing homelessness, particularly people with pets, fathers with children, mothers with children. Is that correct?
It is. Yes, so I work for Wollongong Homeless Hub and Housing Services, and we've been operating services for 40 years in the Illawarra region, delivering high-quality homelessness services and really working with communities to identify the need and then looking at how we can implement services to meet that need.
Yeah, it's a great and really innovative service and, a key member of Community Industry Group and a key part of our community services sector. So we talked earlier about the growth in the number of people experiencing homelessness. What are you seeing?
So we're seeing more people than ever presenting at our services that are telling us they're sleeping in their cars, they're sleeping in unsafe accommodation. We're seeing people with pets at higher numbers. So I was having a look at the statistics. Last year in our accommodation services, we accommodated 50 people who had pets. This year, from the 1st of July up until last week, we've accommodated 83 families or individuals who have pets. So that's a 6-month period in comparison to a 12-month period. So we've already seen such a high demand for those accommodation services. We know that people have such strong connections to their pets, and when they've lost everything and they're in such despair, their pets really help them through. We hear people say that they're a protective factor. They keep them safe, and they're a connection to their community, but even their identity and well-being. So we need to make sure that we are able to deliver services for people that have pets.
I think it's a wonderful thing. Pets are so part of the family, and we do know for many women experiencing domestic violence, having to leave a pet behind and the concerns over what might happen to that pet often keep people in unsafe circumstances, don't they? So it's a wonderful service that you're offering. You spoke a little bit before about unsafe accommodation, and could you maybe explain to everybody what you mean about people living in unsafe accommodation?
Yeah, so it's remaining in those situations that you just mentioned around violence, but it's also sleeping in open spaces in the community. So we hear from people that they're sleeping in parklands, they're sleeping in tents in sheltered areas, and that's increasing. And primarily when somebody has a pet and they're in those unsafe places, there's not a lot of options. Private rentals are a little bit harder, they're a little bit further out of reach we know for our people that, it's challenging to get a private rental. The market itself is at a high demand, and the prices, you add the complexity of having a pet, it just makes it that little bit further out of reach for some people.
And when we talk about people experiencing homelessness, I think many people immediately go to the rough sleepers in parks. But actually, we're seeing a growing rise in working poor, are we not?
We are, yeah.
Working families who just can't afford somewhere to live.
Yeah, and older people. So we're seeing a lot of people over the age of 55 presenting for services for the first time ever. Yeah. So, when we look at homelessness, it's not just that picture that's painted quite often in the media. It really varies, and it could happen to anybody.
Absolutely. In fact, we've done some work at CI Group around homelessness and the changing demographic. One of our member organisations who delivers homelessness services spoke about 2 of their staff members who are living in their cars.
Yeah.
So they are homeless, delivering service to people who are homeless.
Yeah. And they're real life stories that we're hearing all the time.
The growth in the number of older people is a real concern, and I know working with our aged care providers, we're very concerned about older people who rent. Is that the group that you see mostly in your service?
Yeah, so we see a range of older people who have outlived their loved ones and don't have any support, and then their current rental ends. We have people fleeing family violence, older women coming in at high rates.
Wow.
They enter into the homelessness sector and access services.
And could you tell listeners about what those services are that you deliver? How do you help people who are experiencing homelessness?
So we have a range of services, Nicky. We have temporary accommodation, so crisis accommodation. We have transitional accommodation. We have our drop-in hub as well. So in Fairy Meadow, anyone can drop in Monday to Friday, 9 to 1, and access information and referrals. We also have some case management programs around early intervention, sustaining tenancies, but also helping people at the pointy end when they're looking down the barrel of eviction. How can we work with people to save that tenancy, to stop that cycle and churn of people re-entering homelessness?
So what would you say to somebody who is really concerned that they might become homeless?
Reach out to a local SHS, so a homelessness service. In the Illawarra, there are some great services. Whilst we know that, the demand is high, services are able to give information. So, in our case, when I look at the accommodation stats, we've, in the last 6 months, we've been unable to accommodate just over 150 bookings. So that's made up of predominantly families, but also single people. In every instance, we try and give people information on where else they can go.
Right.
Because our services, when it comes to accommodation, are at capacity, but there are other services where they can get information and food support and things like that.
So your message would be, where possible, reach out before you get there, because there might be a way to help preserve your tenancy, keep you from getting into homelessness.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So your services are not just for people who are experiencing it, but at risk.
That at-risk piece is really important, yeah.
For anybody listening out there, if they wanted to help and support your work or people who are experiencing homelessness, how could people practically help you?
I think volunteering time is a great way to reach out and offer support. We know that we're in an economic crisis and, any financial donations are much appreciated, but there's those small things like, volunteering your time to help in our pantry that make huge differences, because our pantry is this amazing, wonderful space, and it's the centralised location where we send out all of our food supplies to our different services. So it's great having volunteers in that space to pack those orders to get them out to the sites that really need them.
So they're going to be in your pantry packing. They're not going to be face-to-face delivering, because lots of people will go, I don't know anything about.
No.
You're not going to be asking people to do that.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah. It's behind the scenes volunteer work.
Yeah.
Which is really important. It's what keeps our organisation going.
And how often do you need volunteers?
We're not going to say no. If somebody wants to offer their time, they can reach out via our website. We have a contact us button on our website, and our admin team will always start those conversations with people around, what it is that they'd like to do and what opportunities we have at the time.
So we can give our time, we can give our money. What about donations of goods? I know we did a drive last year for Homelessness Week in our office for things like shampoo, conditioners, deodorants, basic cleanliness, I guess, supports, but that are actually often quite expensive.
We would love those donations of toiletries and things like that. Every donation that comes into our organisation goes directly to the people that we support, whether it's through our accommodation services or our hub or our outreach van.
Yeah, so if somebody's doing their shopping, they could throw a few extra bits and pieces in. Where would they donate them to?
So our head office, but we have a great partnership with Woolworths. So in many of the local Woolworths in the Illawarra, there are baskets that have Wollongong Homeless Hub, so people can purchase a few extra things in their groceries if they wanted to and pop them in those baskets.
Drop them in the basket.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And Nicky, those small gestures or small donations make a huge impact to the people who are accessing our services when they come with nothing. Midwinter last year, we had a woman who was over the age of 55 who had been sleeping in her car after leaving family violence. She had a small dog that she identified was part of her family, a loved companion, and a pet that kept her safe. She accessed accommodation services for the first time, and she got a little bit lost when trying to find our services. So she called through the team, and the call came through to me. And when I was talking to this lady, she was reflecting that she had to catch 2 trains and a bus to access the accommodation, and how she had to hide her pet in a bag and hide in the train because she couldn't. The thought of sleeping on the streets was so frightening that she just did anything that she could to reach the accommodation services. And so when I was chatting with her and she got to the site, she just burst out crying.
Oh.
And she said, "Oh my goodness, I'm just so thankful. Thank you so much." But it was a humbling reminder that those really small things do make a difference. And for this woman, it was just having a conversation and giving her directions.
Oh.
Which, was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I hope that she's somewhere safe now.
Yes.
With her little dog.
Yeah.
So, Kelly, this podcast is called Community Matters. Could you tell us about somebody in the community who matters to you?
I think for me, it's the frontline staff at Wollongong Homeless Hub and Housing Services, but across all of the SHS sectors. They are at the coalface every day. They are hearing the stories. They are talking to the clients. They're feeding that information, the barriers and the challenges up the line so that advocacy can occur. But it's really hard work, Nicky. I hear from my team how difficult some days are. I think when we're thinking about those days, for us, what's important is that we come together, that we share the successes and chat about the challenges and see what we can do to make a difference. That's the wonderful thing about Wollongong Homeless Hub. We're not well funded, but we look for every opportunity and every funding opportunity and partnership to be able to keep delivering services to the people in our community.
Oh, that's lovely. And when we talk about SHSs, we're talking about specialist homelessness services.
Yes.
We're good at acronyms in this industry.
We are.
And we will make sure that we put a link to Wollongong Homeless Hub on the podcast notes. So if anybody does want to make a donation, or anyone thinks they might want to form a partnership with you, I'm sure that you'd encourage real estate agents to maybe partner with the Homeless Hub.
Definitely, yes.
That they can reach out to you.
Yeah, thanks, Nicky.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That has been just such a really interesting discussion, and congratulations on everything you do. I absolutely concur with you. Those frontline workers are heroes in my eyes, and they across all of community services, they're what inspires us at Community Industry Group every day for the work we do. So thank you. So thank you for tuning in to Community Matters, the podcast where we discuss issues that impact the community with people who are making a difference. Please like this episode, share it, subscribe, and tune in next time for more Community Matters.